the resurrection of the virile man, a journey from weakness to godlike power. Listen closely, because this might be the most important truth you've ever heard. For too long, you've been giving away your essence. Not to a woman, not in an act of creation or intimacy, but to the void, to a screen, to your own hand. Every time you indulge in that hollow act, you're siphoning the very energy that makes you a man. You feel it, don't you? That emptiness afterward. The way your chest feels hollow, your body heavy, your mind foggy. It's not just in your head. It's your soul crying out. It's your body mourning the strength you've just thrown away. Masturbation is not harmless. It's a parasite, feeding off your potential. It keeps you soft when you should be sharp. It makes you weak when you should be a force of nature. It whispers lies in your ear, telling you it's a release, a reward, a harmless escape. But look at what it's really done to you. Are you chasing your goals with relentless fire? Do you walk into a room and command respect? Can you look yourself in the eye and say, "I'm proud of the man I am"? If not, you already know the truth. Each time you give in, you're killing the lion inside you. You're trading your strength for fleeting pleasure, and the cost is far greater than you realize. That drive you lack, that motivation that always feels just out of reach, that confidence that seems to belong to other men but never you, all of it, every ounce, is locked in the seed you keep spilling. You are your own saboteur, and the chains you wear are forged by your own hands. But hear this. It doesn't have to stay this way. There is a path back to your power, a way to rise above the filth and mediocrity you've been drowning in. And it begins with one word: restraint. By holding back, by refusing to waste yourself, you ignite something extraordinary within you. Your energy no longer dissipates. It gathers, it builds, it transforms. Your body grows stronger, your mind clearer, your spirit unshakable. You feel alive in a way you've forgotten, or maybe never even known. And it doesn't stop there. When you walk this path, the world notices. Women see it in your eyes, in your stride, in the way you carry yourself. You don't have to chase them. They're drawn to you, captivated by your presence. Other men feel it too. Some will respect it, others will resent it, sensing in you what they've lost in themselves. But none will ignore it. This is the power of a man who retains his strength. This is the gift of self-mastery. It is not just about abstaining, it is about reclaiming your throne. The man who conquers himself cannot be conquered by anything else. He becomes unstoppable. This is the beginning, brothers. Today we uncover the rot that's been eating away at you. Tomorrow, we build the foundation for something indestructible. The choice is yours. Stay where you are, or rise into the greatness that's waiting for you. Transformation in male perception. Men, when you walk the path of restraint, something profound begins to happen. Not just in your body, but in your mind, your soul, and your very perception of the world around you. The haze you've been living in, the distortion caused by years of indulgence, starts to lift. Suddenly you're seeing clearly, maybe for the first time in your life. You begin to notice the difference between men who are controlled and those who are slaves to their impulses. It's like a radar you didn't know you had. You see it in their posture, their eyes, their very aura. The man who spills his energy looks hollow, defeated, like a flickering light on the verge of burning out. But the man who retains, he stands taller. His presence is magnetic. He radiates something primal, something powerful, something undeniable. And here's the kicker. You don't just see it in others. You start to feel it in yourself. That self-consciousness you once had, it fades. You walk into a room, and you're no longer worried about how you're perceived. Instead, you command the space. You exude a quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to shout because it's written in every fiber of your being. And women? Oh, they notice. They sense the shift. Women are drawn to power, to energy, to vitality. And when you're on this path, you have all three in spades. But here's the truth. You don't see them the same way anymore. The fog of lust that once clouded your judgment is gone. You no longer worship their form or put them on a pedestal. You see them for what they are, not objects of your desire, but individuals with virtues, or lack thereof. You discern, you choose, you judge, and only those with depth, with goodness, with purity, capture your attention now. This is the awakening. This is the evolution. The man who was once blinded by his own desires is now a master of them. You see the world as it is, not as the illusions your weakness once painted. And in this clarity lies your strength. The strength to lead, to inspire, to stand apart in a world drowning in mediocrity. But this transformation is just the beginning. You've unlocked the door, but what lies beyond it is even greater. The next level of power, of vitality, of greatness. This is where you're headed. Keep walking, and watch as the world reshapes itself around the force of who you're becoming. Virya, the power of retained energy. Let me tell you about something ancient, something sacred, something the world has all but forgotten. Virility. It's not just a word, it's a force. A living, breathing testament to what it means to be a man. It's power, unrestrained and untamed, coursing through your veins like a raging river. But here's the catch. It only exists in its fullness when you hold your seed. Virility is your birthright, but for most men it lies dormant, suffocated by years of indulgence. Each act of restraint, each moment you deny the easy release, is like a spark reigniting that power. Suddenly, you're alive again. Your body feels like it's been turbocharged. Your stamina is endless. Your strength is undeniable. It's like waking up after a lifetime of sleepwalking, and it's not just physical. Virility is in your mind, your spirit, your very essence. It's the clarity of thought that cuts through confusion like a blade. It's the patience to endure, the evenness to face challenges without breaking. It's a kind of calm, steady power that radiates from you, an aura so palpable that others can't help but feel it. This is why men of old were revered. They didn't just possess muscles or weapons. They carried an energy that could not be ignored. They built empires, fought wars, and inspired legends because they knew the secret. A man who masters himself can master anything. And at the heart of that mastery lies virility. The ancient yogis called it virya, a vitality so potent that it changes not just you but the world around you. In their teachings, they said this power is unlocked through celibacy, through the preservation of your sacred energy. They weren't wrong. When you retain, you don't just grow stronger, you grow luminous. People can see it, feel it. Your presence becomes magnetic. You shine. And this isn't just some mystical mumbo-jumbo. It's written into your biology, your DNA. The energy you're retaining is the most concentrated form of life force your body can produce. It's what creates life itself. To waste it is to waste yourself, but to keep it, to harness it, is to become unstoppable. Do you understand what that means? It means you don't need cheap stimulants. You don't need validation. You don't need anything external to feel alive and powerful. It's already within you, waiting to be unleashed. When you preserve your energy, you are not just saving it. You are transforming it. Every drop you keep becomes fuel for your body, fire for your mind, and light for your soul. This is the virile man, the man who holds his power and wields it with purpose. He is unshakable. He is unstoppable. And he is rare in today's world. But that rarity is your advantage. While others squander their strength, you are building yours. While others fade into the background, you are stepping into the spotlight. This is what it means to embody virility. But we're only just beginning. There's more to this power than what you've seen so far. As we move forward, you'll learn how this strength translates into influence, how it shapes your destiny, and how it elevates you to a level most men will never reach. So hold tight, because this is where the ascent begins. Let's not sugarcoat this. Sexual addiction is a plague, a silent killer that's stripping away your masculinity piece by piece and leaving you a hollow version of who you're meant to be. Every click on that site, every moment spent watching another man perform with a woman who isn't yours, every time you let that addiction win, you are complicit in your own destruction. Pornography, masturbation, these aren't harmless indulgences. They are weapons. Weapons designed to enslave you, to rob you of your ambition, your focus, and your fire. Look at the men who are consumed by this addiction. You know the type. They're lethargic, uninspired, dead in the eyes. They drift through life like ghosts, stuck in a loop of instant gratification and perpetual dissatisfaction. They have no grit, no drive, no hunger. And the saddest part? They've convinced themselves that this is normal, that it's okay to live like this, but it's not normal. And it's not okay, it's a slow suicide, my brother. A man addicted to these things is a man who will never achieve his potential. He's weak when he should be strong, passive when he should be aggressive. He lets life happen to him instead of taking control and shaping it. And the worst part? This addiction doesn't just destroy you. It taints everything around you. Your relationships, your goals, your sense of self-respect, all of it withers under the weight of this disease. How can you lead, protect, or inspire anyone if you're shackled by your own vices? How can you respect yourself when you know, deep down, that you're wasting your life force on something so meaningless? But here's the truth that no one else will tell you. You can break free. This addiction isn't a life sentence. It's a test, a fire designed to forge you into something greater. And every day you resist, every time you fight back, you're not just overcoming the addiction, you're reclaiming your power. When you step away from this vice, you feel it almost immediately. The fog starts to lift, your energy returns. You wake up with purpose, with clarity, with drive. You start to look people in the eye again, unashamed and unafraid. You start to feel alive. And that, my brother, is the beginning of your resurrection. But we're not done. Breaking free is only the first step. The next level is harnessing that energy, turning it into fuel for greatness. And that's where we're headed next. Grit and character development. If there's one word that defines greatness, it's grit. Not talent, not luck, not circumstance. Grit. The raw, unbreakable will to endure, to rise, and to conquer. But let me ask you this. How can you develop grit when your mind is ruled by your impulses? How can you stand firm in the face of life's storms when you can't even control yourself in the quiet of your own room? Every man who has ever done anything worth remembering has faced pain, fear, and temptation. And they've overcome it. Not because it was easy, not because they were born different, but because they had the strength of character to endure. And that strength, it doesn't come from comfort. It comes from discipline. It comes from sacrifice. It comes from walking through fire and refusing to break. Sexual restraint is the crucible where grit is forged. It's the practice of saying no to the easy path so that you can walk the path of greatness. When you master this, you're not just mastering your impulses, you're mastering yourself. You're building the kind of character that can't be shaken by the petty distractions of this world. Look at history. The Roman legionnaires, men who conquered empires, were forbidden from sexual indulgence while on campaign. Why? Because they knew that discipline off the battlefield meant power on the battlefield. They knew that a man who controls his desires is a man who can control anything. And this isn't just about external victories. Grit is the foundation of your inner strength. When you practice restraint, you sharpen your mind. You strengthen your resolve. You become the kind of man who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't flinch in the face of adversity. You become the kind of man who others look to when the world is falling apart. But let's be real. Grit isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not easy. It's waking up early to chase your goals when no one's watching. It's holding your ground when everything inside you screams to give in. It's choosing the hard path not because it's fun, but because it's right. And when you walk this path, you discover something incredible. That pain, that struggle, that sacrifice, it doesn't break you. It makes you. This is what separates the mediocre from the exceptional. This is what takes you from living a life of quiet desperation to a life of unstoppable momentum. Grit is your weapon, your shield, your edge, and it all starts with mastering yourself. You feel that fire in your chest? That's your potential roaring to life. Don't let it go out. Fan it, feed it, let it grow until it consumes every ounce of weakness in you. Because grit isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. And once you've got it, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. The aura of radiance. There's a word for what happens when you retain your energy. It's called tejas, the radiance, the glow, the fire that surrounds a man who holds his power. This isn't some metaphor. It's real. You've seen it before, even if you didn't know what to call it. It's the light in a man's eyes, the vitality in his presence, the charisma that makes heads turn the moment he walks into a room. And it's a power no amount of money or status can fake. Tejas isn't just about looking good. It's the manifestation of retained energy, the life force concentrated and cultivated until it shines through your skin, your voice, your entire being. When you're on this path, you don't just feel alive. You radiate it. People sense it. Women are drawn to it. Men respect it, even if they don't understand why. It's primal, undeniable, and magnetic. But let's be real. Tejas doesn't come cheap. It's earned. Every time you choose discipline over indulgence, every time you say no to the easy path, you're building this aura. You're transforming your energy into a force that commands attention without saying a word. And the effects go deeper than attraction. When you hold your energy, your health improves, your body becomes more resilient. You get sick less often, you recover faster, and your stamina skyrockets. Your mind sharpens, your emotions stabilize, and you develop a kind of calm, unshakable confidence. You become the man who doesn't just survive chaos, he thrives in it. Think about it. When you were wasting your energy, didn't everything feel harder? You were tired all the time, irritable, stuck in your head. But when you stop squandering your strength, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly you're awake, you're focused, you're powerful. And the glow? It's not just in your eyes or your skin, it's in your very presence. You become the kind of man people want to follow, to emulate, to be around. This is the transformation that most men will never experience because they're too busy chasing cheap pleasures. But you're different. You're stepping onto a path that few dare to walk. And every step you take, every ounce of energy you retain is another brick in the fortress of your radiance. Tejas is your shield and your sword. It's the light that cuts through the darkness, the fire that sets you apart. And once you've unlocked it, there's no going back. You'll look in the mirror and see a man who's not just alive, but alive with purpose. A man who shines so brightly that the world can't ignore him. But we're not done yet. This glow, this energy, it's only the beginning. Because the man who masters his energy doesn't just transform himself, he transforms the world around him. And that's where we're headed next. This is influence and power, how you shape the world. When you retain your energy, when you master yourself, something profound happens. It's as if the universe itself takes notice. Suddenly, your thoughts, your words, your very presence begin to carry weight. You don't just live in the world anymore, you start to shape it. This isn't some mystical nonsense. This is the ripple effect of concentrated power. A man who has mastered himself, who holds his energy, becomes like a magnet. People are drawn to him. Opportunities find him. His words inspire, his actions lead, and his very existence challenges others to rise. This is the influence of a man who retains. He doesn't just live, he leaves a mark. Think about it. When you were at your lowest, spilling your energy, addicted to that cycle, did anyone follow you? Did people look to you for strength? Of course not, because you had nothing to give. Your words were hollow. Your presence was forgettable. You were a shadow, invisible in the chaos of the world. But now you're becoming something else, something rare, something unstoppable. As your energy builds, so does your impact. People around you start to change. They stand taller, speak with more conviction, act with more purpose, all because they're in your orbit. You don't have to tell them what to do. They feel it. They see it. You become a beacon, a catalyst for transformation. And it doesn't stop with people. Your thoughts begin to manifest. The ideas you hold in your mind, the visions you carry in your heart, they start to become reality. It's like the universe bends to your will, aligning opportunities, connections, and events in your favor. This isn't magic. It's focus. It's clarity. It's the power of a man who knows what he wants and has the energy to make it happen. But this kind of power comes with responsibility, because the stronger you become, the more you influence those around you. Your words can uplift or destroy. Your actions can inspire or corrupt. The question is, what kind of man will you be? Will you use your power to build, to protect, to lead, or will you let it consume you, becoming another tyrant in a world full of them? The choice is yours. But here's what I know. The man who masters himself, who retains his energy, doesn't just transform his own life. He transforms the lives of everyone he touches. He becomes a force of nature, unstoppable and undeniable. And the world? The world bends to his will. So ask yourself, what kind of world do you want to create? Because with this power, there are no limits. Redefining female attractiveness. The power of discernment. Men, the world has lied to you about women. From the moment you opened your eyes to the screens, to the ads, to the images shoved down your throat, you were told to worship their form, to crave them, to let your entire existence revolve around chasing them. But let me tell you something. That was never about love or connection. That was about control, about making you weak. When you're caught in that trap, women are your rulers and you're their slave. You see them as angels, as goddesses, as creatures of divine perfection. But all of that, it's an illusion. A spell cast by your own unchecked desires, fueled by the system that profits from your addiction. It's time to wake up, to tear away the veil, and to see clearly for the first time in your life. When you walk the path of retention, something incredible happens. The spell breaks. You stop seeing women as objects of endless desire and start seeing them for who they truly are. People. And not all people are worthy of your energy, your respect, or your time. You begin to discern. You see their character, their morals, their essence. You see who deserves to stand by your side and who does not. And let's be real. Most women today aren't ready for a man like you. They're used to men groveling at their feet, validating their every whim, and chasing them without standards. But you've changed. You've raised your standards. You don't chase. You don't beg. You choose. And you only choose women who bring something real to the table. Intelligence, loyalty, virtue. Not just a pretty face, but a pure heart and a strong soul. Here's the truth that most men will never understand. When you master yourself, when you retain your energy, the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer drawn to women because of their appearance. You're drawn to their substance, And because of that, women are drawn to you, not because you're chasing them, but because you're not. You stand out in a world of weak men and they can't help but notice. But this isn't just about attraction. It's about liberation. When you stop being controlled by your desires, you free yourself. You stop making decisions based on lust. You stop letting your emotions rule you. You take back your power, and in doing so, you discover a truth most men never will. The only woman worth having is the one who is worthy of you. And here's the kicker. As you purify yourself, you elevate the women around you. A strong man inspires strength in others. A disciplined man inspires discipline. When you raise your standards, women are forced to rise to meet them. This is how you change not just yourself, but the world. So don't settle. Don't lower yourself to fit into a broken system. Walk tall, hold your energy, and wait for the one who sees your worth and matches it. Because you, my brother, are no ordinary man. You are a man of vision, of power, of purpose, and you deserve nothing less than greatness. The attractiveness of a retainer. There's a kind of attractiveness that no cologne, no gym membership, no flashy car can ever replicate. It's primal. It's raw, it's undeniable, and it belongs to the man who retains. When you master yourself, when you hold your energy, you become something rare. Women can sense it before you even speak. It's in the way you move, the way you stand, the way you look them in the eye. It's the energy you carry, the untapped potential, the unspoken confidence, the fire that says, I am not like the rest. This isn't about being good-looking. It's not about being rich or having a six-pack. It's about your essence, your vitality, your virility, your unshakable presence. A retainer radiates something other men can't fake. Women feel it. Men feel it. Hell, even animals feel it. You become a force of nature, and people can't help but take notice. Why? Because deep down, women are wired to respond to strength. Emotional strength, physical vitality, and the unrelenting discipline that comes from mastering your desires. They're not drawn to men who are slaves to their impulses. They're drawn to the man who controls his urges, who stands apart, who doesn't need their validation to feel powerful. That's the man they crave, even if they don't consciously understand why. And here's the kicker. The energy you've been spilling in the shadows, it's now concentrated within you. It changes everything about you. Your voice, your aura, your movements. Your voice becomes deeper, richer, more commanding. It's not just sound. It's vibration. It's power. And when you speak, people listen. When you walk into a room, you don't just enter. You take up space. You own it. This isn't magic. It's biology. Your retained energy is life itself. It's the force that creates worlds, and when you keep it, you glow with a vitality that sets you apart. Women are drawn to it. But here's the twist. You don't need to chase them anymore. They chase you, not because you're playing games, but because you've become the kind of man who can't be ignored. But let's not get it twisted. This isn't about using your energy to manipulate or dominate. It's about elevating. It's about being the kind of man who inspires trust, who commands respect, who leads by example. It's about being the man who doesn't just attract others, but lifts them higher. And the crazy part? This is only the beginning. As you grow stronger, as you keep building, your power doesn't just attract, it transforms. You're not just lighting your own fire. You're setting the world around you ablaze. So here's the question. Are you ready to embrace it? To step into the role you were born to play? Because this is what it means to be a retainer. Not just a man, but a force. Not just alive, but unstoppable. You influence your world, the retainer's ripple effect. You ever heard of a king who didn't leave his mark on the world? Me neither. When you master retention, when you build yourself into the man who stands tall, unshakable and full of energy, you don't just transform yourself. You transform your entire reality. People feel it when you walk into a room. Your presence hits like a tidal wave. It's not about arrogance or loudness. It's deeper. Your energy speaks for you. You don't have to announce yourself because the way you move, the way you carry yourself, the calm in your eyes, says everything. You've become a living symbol of control, discipline, and unrelenting power. And here's where it gets crazy. Your influence starts to ripple out. The people around you, friends, family, even strangers, begin to feel your energy. Spend time with a man who retains, and you'll notice this. Others stand straighter, speak with more conviction, and think bigger. Your energy charges them, whether they realize it or not. You're like a lighthouse in a stormy sea, guiding others out of their darkness. But it's not just people. Your very thoughts begin to shape your world. When you retain, your focus sharpens. Your goals, your dreams, your vision for the future, they stop being distant ideas and start becoming reality. Call it manifestation, call it alignment, call it whatever you want. But the truth is, when you harness your energy, you tap into a power most men will never touch. And this isn't just talk. History is full of men who changed the course of humanity because they mastered themselves. Nikola Tesla, the genius who gave the world electricity, celibate, saints, warriors, and leaders who left legacies, they knew the secret. A man who holds his energy holds the keys to creation. But there's another side to this coin. With great power comes great responsibility. The stronger your energy becomes, the more you can lift others or destroy them. Your words carry weight now. Your actions ripple out farther than ever before. You have to ask yourself, what kind of impact do you want to make? Will you use your power to build, to inspire, to lead? Or will you let it corrupt you, becoming the very thing you swore to rise above? This is the burden and the gift of being a retainer. You don't just live for yourself anymore. You become a force, shaping lives, influencing the world, leaving a mark that can't be erased. This is your legacy, and the time to build it is now. Because here's the truth. Men like you don't come around often. A man who masters himself, who walks the path of restraint, who builds himself into a beacon of strength. That man changes the game. And the world, it's waiting for you to step up. Addiction is the enemy of greatness, and there is no addiction more insidious than this. Pornography, masturbation, sexual indulgence, these aren't just bad habits. They're a disease, a poison that seeps into every corner of your mind, your body, your soul, and the worst part, most men don't even realize they're infected. Think about it. How many hours have you lost to this trap? How many dreams have you abandoned because you were too drained, too ashamed, too stuck in the fog to pursue them? Sexual addiction doesn't just steal your time. It steals your ambition, your fire, your will to fight for something better. It turns you into a slave, chasing fleeting pleasure at the expense of your potential. And here's the brutal truth. This addiction rewires your brain. It makes you see women not as people, not as partners, but as objects. It twists your perception, replacing connection with compulsion. It doesn't just make you weak, it makes you blind. Blind to the beauty of real relationships, blind to the power within you, blind to the man you could be if you broke free. But let's be clear, this isn't who you are. It's a condition, not your identity. And like any condition, it can be cured. It won't be easy. It'll take discipline, focus, and an unrelenting will to rise above. But the rewards? The rewards are beyond anything you can imagine. When you break free, the chains fall off, the fog lifts, your mind clears. Suddenly, you're not a slave to your impulses. You're their master. You look at women and see them for who they are, not as tools for your gratification, but as human beings worthy of respect, or if not, worthy of being ignored entirely. You stop chasing cheap thrills and start pursuing real goals, real success, real connection. And the power you reclaim, it's immense. Your confidence surges, your energy skyrockets. You walk through life with a new sense of purpose, a new fire in your soul. You're no longer distracted by the noise. You're focused, driven, alive. Because here's the truth. Addiction is the test, and freedom is the reward. Every time you resist, every time you choose to hold your energy, you're not just breaking a habit, you're reclaiming your life. You're stepping back into the driver's seat, taking control of your destiny, and becoming the man you were born to be. So ask yourself, are you ready to fight? To face this enemy head-on and destroy it once and for all? Because the only thing standing between you and your greatness is your willingness to take that first step. The chains are there, but so is the key, and it's in your hands. A virtuous woman is not found, she is drawn to greatness. And greatness starts with you, when you walk the path of retention, when you build yourself into the man who controls his energy and commands his destiny. The kind of woman who enters your life changes. It's no accident. It's alignment. Weak men attract weak women. Strong men attract queens. But here's the truth. Not all women are virtuous, and not all deserve a seat at your table. The world is full of temptresses, women who thrive on your weakness, who feed off your validation, and who pull you into their chaos. These women are poison, and a man who retains learns to see them for what they are. They can't seduce you, can't manipulate you, can't own you. You see through the facade, and you choose better. Because a man who masters himself doesn't chase. He doesn't settle. He waits for the woman who mirrors his strength, his discipline, his integrity. The woman who lifts him higher, who inspires him to build an empire, who stands by his side not as a distraction but as a partner. This is the virtuous woman, and she is rare. And here's the thing. When you walk this path, she will find you. Not because you're searching, but because you've become the kind of man who commands her respect. A virtuous woman is drawn to a man of vision, a man of purpose, a man who stands firm in his values. She doesn't fall for the games, the lies, or the shallow promises of weak men. She sees power, and she gravitates toward it. But don't misunderstand. This isn't about sitting back and waiting. It's about becoming the kind of man who deserves her, the kind of man who doesn't just demand respect but earns it, the kind of man who doesn't just attract goodness but cultivates it in himself and in others. And the reward? A bond that can't be broken. A partnership that doesn't just survive life's storms but thrives in them. Together, you're unstoppable. Two forces united by strength, purpose, and shared vision. But let me leave you with this. Even without her, you are whole. Even without her, you are powerful. The virtuous woman is a reflection of your greatness, not the source of it. You don't need her to be complete. You are already enough. And that truth, that's what makes you unstoppable. So as we close this journey, ask yourself this. What kind of man will you be? A man ruled by his impulses, chasing fleeting pleasure? Or a man who rises, who retains, who builds a life so extraordinary that it draws greatness in all its forms? The choice is yours, but I already know who you are, my brother. You're the kind of man who doesn't just live, you dominate, you lead, you conquer. And with that, the work is complete. Now go, create, build, become the man this world cannot ignore.